What's up, guys? Welcome to the Iacon Files. Today, this Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bada boom, bada bing. We got this going, guys, and bring you something a little different today, which is cool because, that's how we do it. Mix it up a little bit on the Iacon Files. It's not always Transformers, not always toys. We get into different things here. That's the whole goal, trying to bring a little bit of everything. We'll see what you guys are into. I'm sure there's a lot of Warhammer fans out there. I mean, it's a huge following. Warhammer is huge. I got into it briefly years ago, and it's definitely intriguing, man. Like, I remember playing game Space Marines on the Xbox 360, I believe it was, the first time it came out. And it was a cool game. It was really cool. I got into it. Warhammer is really difficult. Like, if you don't know anything about it, it's really hard to grasp it because it gets really deep. But playing the game Space Marines on that 360 helped a lot. It helped bring a lot of knowledge real quick as you're playing it, so it was pretty bugged out. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Space Marines, specifically the salamanders. Put some pictures up there, bada boom, bada bing. So, yeah, man, the salamanders. So, for those of you who probably don't know anything about Warhammer, and you can put me on that list too. My knowledge of Warhammer is not that great compared to a lot of people, but I did a lot of research this week. I got a lot of stuff to read, and really all this paperwork here is really just breaking it into, this. You can get so deep into this that you'd be talking for months probably, but I wanted to simplify it to give you just a little bit of information about the salamanders and in Warhammer. Again, I mean, there's so much to go into. I can break it down on other episodes, but you got different groups, different branches. I don't know how you want to categorize them, but you got the salamanders, you got the space wolves, you got the dark angels, the blood angels, the imperial fists, the ultramarines. I think the ultramarines are definitely a lot of people's favorites. There's so many of them, guys, and I'm just gonna kind of break it in. Today, we're just going to focus on the salamanders, all right? I got some clips that I'm going to share with you guys and some more pictures as we get into this. But getting into the salamanders, so far, they've been really my favorite group so far. Clan, whatever you want to call them. They're really bugged out, and I don't know if they're going to remain my favorites because there's so many of them that I have to get into, but I chose to start with the salamanders. And let's just get right into it, man. I got some pictures to show you guys. I got some videos to show you guys. If you're here, comment, don't forget to like and follow the Iacon Files. That way, whenever we go on live, hit on the comments, anything that you want to talk about, anything that you would like to see on the Iacon Files discussed or reviewed, whatever it is. Just say something in the comments. The feedback helps. The feedback helps. I always want to try to bring something a little different and try to hit different topics. That's why I'm doing Warhammer today, because it's something I thought it was cool. I got into. All right, so I'm just going to dive into it. We got a lot of stuff to go through, and as I go through, I'll change the pictures and upload videos just to kind of go with the flow here. So what you see there in the front is the salamanders, in their group. Kind of like the Navy. You got the Navy, you got the Marines, you got the Army, and then you got you got Special Forces, Delta, Navy SEAL. You know how the military is. You got different groups in it, right? So that's kind of like a Warhammer. Warhammer is like you got the military, and then it's divided into like groups, or clans, however you want to categorize it. So the salamanders, their war cry is "Into the fires of battle, unto the anvil of war." Founding CA 700 M30. Successors of Dragon Warriors. Successor chapters. These are the successor chapters. There's quite a few. Beacons of Mar, Black Dragons, Black Vipers, Covenant of Fire, Dark Krakens, Dragon Spears, Drake's Radiant, Hammers of Nocturne, Iron Drakes, and Storm Giants. They're the 18th division, I guess. Primarch is Vulcan. We'll get into Primarchs maybe into this live today. But the Primarch for the Salamanders is Vulcan. Chapter Master, Region of Prometheus Tushan. Homeworld of Nocturne, if I'm saying it right. Fortress Monastery Nocturne as Moon of Prometheus. Allegiance Imperium of Man. Colors green, black, and gold. And like I said, their war cries: "Into the fires of battle, into the anvil of war. On the anvil of war are the strong-tempered and the weak made to perish. Thus are men's souls tested as metal in the forge's fire." The Primarch is Vulcan. The Salamanders are one of the loyalists' first founding chapters of the Space Marines. So there you go, chapters. I guess that's how they divide them. They chapters. They originally served as the Imperium's 18th Space Marine Legion during the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy for some time before their unification with their Primarch. They were known as the Dragon Warriors. Their homeworld is Vulcan, Death World of Nocturne. So the picture that you see there is the present salamanders, as they took the symbol on their chest. The winged bird is like the symbol of the Imperium of Man. But before that, they were Dragon Warriors, and that's kind of how they looked right there. Dragon Warriors, pre-imperial emblem. So they had the salamander emblem in the chest, and that was, I guess, before they joined into the like Legion, the Imperium, following. That's how they looked before, pretty cool. Like that's how. And you got different, like I said, I'm talking about the Space Marines. You got different levels, but we'll stick with the Space Marines for the sake of keeping it easy and not getting too crazy, because you can get crazy in Warhammer. It's pretty crazy. But this is how they looked before joining Imperium Man. And then they picked up, their armor's changed a bit. You got the wings. You see a lot of the Space Marines have these wings. A lot of them has like the winged skull on their chest. But that's the salamanders. The salamanders are unusually concerned with civilian casualties compared to most other chapters of the Adeptus Astartes, and believe that one of their most important duties is to protect the lives of the emperors of mankind's innocent subjects whenever and wherever possible. That's one of the things I like about the salamanders, man, because if I was a Space Marines, I would want to protect the innocent people, the civilians who can't defend themselves, and a lot of the chapters, they kind of like, they got better things to do. But the salamanders really focus on protecting the civilians, which is, I thought it was cool. That's pretty dope. This is an attitude that developed as a consequence of the salamanders' own unusual close connections to the nocturne people, as they are one of the only chapters Astartes who continue to interact with their mortal families and the people of their homeworld after their transformation into space marines. For instance, it is not unknown for a salamander to live among the Nocturnians and special chapter bastions created within each of their homeworlds, 7 tribal sanctuary cities. When chapter business does not require him to remain at the chapter's fortress monastery on Nocturne's moons of Prometheus, and certainly the salamanders are looked upon as leaders within their communities. The salamanders and their people as a whole are defined by their adherence to a variation of the imperial code called the Promethean code. So like they said, it was saying like they love protecting civilians. I got a picture here to share with you guys. So is another salamander soldier, space marine, with holding a child, and he's got a little girl by the hand. That's cool. Like for me, I really dig that. That's cool. I find that to be honorable. You want to give your life to protect civilians, and I think that's pretty dope. Let's see. The story of the salamanders and the legend of how their primarch Vulcan was reunited with the emperor in one of the few stories from the time of the Great Crusade told on a coherent form across many different worlds of the Imperium. How much of this so-called Promethean opus is factually accurate is unknown, and in many ways unimportant. The fact that the salamanders have stood for 10,000 standard years as paragons of strength, honor, and resolution is the true legacy of their primarch, and one of the endures into the dark epoch of the 41st millennium. The salamanders hail from a world racked by constant volcanic instability, but possessing the very rarest kind of mineral resources. The violence of the cyclic volcanic activity creates a churns up strategic minerals high prized by the Adeptus Mechanicus. Yet the planet has been occupied by mankind since long before the age of the Imperium. That's pretty bugged out. Got another picture here to show you guys. I love that one. That's pretty awesome. That's got to be more like a they categorize the space marines. You got your regulars, you got your captains, you got your chapter masters. That's pretty bugged out. Let's see. When the infant Vulcan, where they're talking about the Primarch now, appeared on Nocturne, he was discovered by the smith of one of the 7 main settlements, a master, smith of Nocturne metalworking techniques. Let's see, where'd he go? A master craftsman who soon taught the infant Primarch all he knew. Within a few short tearing years, Vulcan had developed into a hulk of a man, his mind as powerful as his body. Soon, Vulcan was teaching the master smiths of Nocturne metalworking techniques lost to them since the darkest days of age of strife. When Vulcan defeated one of the regular and highly costly Drakari, if I'm saying it right, raids upon Nocturne, he was unanimously acknowledged as their leader. So it's kind of cool, you got your classic story, right, of the hero adopted by the locals, and in this case, adopted by the local blacksmith, and in turn teaching Vulcan what he knows, so Vulcan became like an apprentice to this blacksmith and shortly mastered that art. Let's see. When the Emperor came to Nocturne to be reunited with his lost son, so you got the Emperor of mankind, the Primarchs are his sons, and again, that's a story for another time, because you can get crazy into that. But a quick answer to what a Primarch is the Emperor's sons are Primarchs, and there's quite a few of them. So Vulcan is one of his sons. So he chose not to do. Let's see. Emperor Kintanuk turned to reunite with his lost son. He chose not to do so with great. Let me show you a picture of Vulcan first of all. There we go. So that's a picture of the Primarch Vulcan, and in this picture he's forging a weapon. So, you know, he took up the art of blacksmith that his adopted father taught him at a young age. He chose not to do so with great ceremony, as he had in several other cases. He did not announce his identity, hiding behind obscuring psychic glamour. Instead, he came as a stranger during the festival to celebrate Vulcan's great victory by tradition. Such celebrations include numerous contests and trials of strength. And so the stranger challenged Vulcan, declaring that the winner of their contest would kneel before the other and declare his eternal fealty. The resulting challenge saw the stranger and a Primarch perform such deeds that no mortal could replicate, culminating in a hunt to slay the largest of the great fire-loving native Nocturnans reptiles known as salamanders, and return to the settlement with its body. During the final challenge, Vulcan slew a gargantuan beast, but upon his return journey, the ground opened up beneath him, and a torrent of lava surged up to engulf him. With one hand clinging to a rock and the other gripping the tail of a huge prize, Vulcan hung perilously over the surging lava, his mighty strength slipping away after the many solar days of trials. Only by abandoning his trophy could Vulcan save himself. Yet, he refused to do so even in the face of death. Then the stranger, which is, we know, the Emperor in disguise, appeared before him, but his path was blocked by yet another lava channel. Vulcan saw that the stranger dragged behind him a prize even greater than his own, the body of the largest salamander ever seen. So that thing must have been huge, man. And Emperor himself it's a huge guy. He's not like 6 feet tall, 9. Dude, this guy is huge. I'd have to get the exact height, but to give you an example, I want to say he's about 14 feet tall. I want to say the Emperor. I could be off, but definitely at least 14 feet tall. So he had a huge one, which the stranger cast his salamander trophy into the lava, because the salamanders, I guess, are like lava proof, I guess, fireproof, whatever, so it could withstand the lava. So he threw it to form a bridge to save a Vulcan. And his body into the lava. A moment later, the stranger took Vulcan's hand and lifted the Primarch and his prize straight up, saving him from death. Upon the return to the settlement, the elders declared Vulcan the winner of the contest, for the stranger had returned from the hunt empty-handed, which we already know that he threw his trophy into the lava to save him. Here's another picture of Vulcan in armor. Let's see here. But it was not the stranger who declared his eternal fealty, but the Primarch who did so, going down on one knee and declaring that a man who valued another life over his own victory was a man worth serving. So, you know, again, it goes into that classic story of honor, respect, honor. You know, here you got Vulcan, a huge guy. Vulcan is a huge guy. He's like the Hulk, you know, this guy's huge. And he, even though he was declared the winner of the contest, he knew this guy had a bigger trophy because he threw it in and saved him, right? And he was moved by the stranger, which is aka Vulcan's father, and he was like, you know what, like, what he did is honorable, and he wanted to serve this guy because, you know, like he said, and I remember, the salamanders they give their lives to protect the civilians. You know, it's what they do. It's one of the chapters in Space Marines that they're known for. You know, they're known for integrating themselves with the community. You know, and I think that's why a lot of people hold the salamanders to the heart because of how they are. You know, it's in their genes to be like that. And here you got Vulcan, right, kind of expressing that same thing. You know, he saw the stranger, aka the Emperor, his father, give his life to save him. You know, so that's a gene that is continued to pass down. Vulcan assumed the mantle of Primarch of the 18th Legion, therefore called the Salamanders, and that's how we get into what I was trying to show you guys. The classic salamander outfits. All right, so they're established. Now they got that, you know, their emblem, and then they got the salamander like head on their shoulders, and I think different armors vary, you know, because, you know, they're soldiers, right? And they each armor is different depending on the individual. They dress it up the way they like, you know. And it's pretty bugged out, man. I you know, like I said, when I did some research on this, I really got into the salamanders. I really like who they are. Honor. So thereafter, the salamanders, in honor of their new legion homeworld in the contest that had reunited them with their gene father, recruiting from the hardy men of Nocturne, the Salamanders Legion soon became known for strength, courage, and honor of its battle brothers, as well as the skills with which they fashioned their weapons of war. Okay, but the age of the imperial glory was not to last long, for along with the Iron Hands and the Raven Guard, the Salamanders were deceived by the War Master Horus into taking their place among the doomed first wave of loyalist Space Marine legions. Yeah, I think that's another thing that you get into, like the Horus is, I believe they categorize them as Space Marines that kind of like turn their back. They're like traitors, I guess, kind of type thing. You know, we can get into that on another live, but to briefly give you that, you know. Let's see. First wave of loyalist Space Marine legions at the drop site massacre of Istvan, where they were decimated first by the traitors. Yeah, see, they call them. So they're traitors. You know, the Horus are traitors, and they were decimated by them. You know, because they probably took them off guard. You know, who knows how that went down? You know, the story's there, but I'm trying to keep it simple to not confuse you guys. But defenses, and then by the treachery of those legions forming the second wave, the Salamanders are known to have suffered tragic losses at Istvan as one of the so-called shattered legions, though sufficient numbers escaped to save the legion from extinction. Records of this age are incomplete at best, and little of the Salamanders' actions or the deeds of their Primarch are preserved. The events immediately followed the Galactic Civil War are even more obscured and perhaps known only to the taciturn masters of the Salamanders, Liberius. The 18th Legion appeared to have sired no immediate successors, and it is likely that their numbers were so depleted by the events of the Istanvar drop site massacre that it was not possible to divide it into separate chapters during the second founding. Several chapters created much later and sequential founding may share the genetic inheritance of the salamanders. The genetic, they have the salamanders, like, let me show you the picture with Vulcan again. The salamanders, you see his skin is like gray. So that's a trait that the salamanders have because of their home world. It's like a granite style looking skin. And sometimes, and I'll show you a video clip later on, where if you're not familiar with them, you would think they were corrupted with a disease or something, because of the way they look. But that's the way the salamanders look because of their home world. So the extent to which decades of Codex Astaris were heard into the aftermath of breaking up the old legions varied much, and the salamanders appeared to have obeyed in some respects, while ignoring in others. The fielding of only 7 over strength companies by chapter in the 41st millennium, and one example of this, though, in other respects, the chapter is largely compliant with Robot Gulliman's tomb, if I'm saying it right. The ultimate fate of the Salamander's Primarch, which is Vulcan, the father of the Primarchs, is a matter of much conjecture, for he disappeared many standard years after the end of the Horus Heresy, which is like that battle with all the traitors. It's crazy, dude. I'm telling you. You could be here for months talking about this. Some sources state that Vulcan led his chapter for 3 entire standard millennia before he departed on some mission he never declared to the Imperium at large. Though scant evidence of any of his deeds throughout the age of remain, the tale is made all the more mysterious by the fact that Vulcan appeared to have left behind him a collection of sacred texts and other objects collectively called the Tomb of Fire within a locked location of 9 potent technical artifacts made by his own hand. According to chapter belief, only when all 9 of these artifacts of Vulcan are recovered, as 5 known have been, will Vulcan judge the salamander sufficiently tempered to have passed the ultimate contest. Then, so the legend states, he shall return to lead the salamander. That part kind of reminds me, like Jesus Christ, man, he will return, when everything is set in motion, when everything is in place. It's funny how a lot of these stuff fall in place. It's pretty bugged out. So yeah, so it started with the Dragon Warriors right here. Then baby Vulcan got adopted by the blacksmith of Nocturne, which he was taught the art of blacksmith, which in this photo you can see him forging his weapon. From there, he follows the Emperor and doing what he's gonna do, like he submits himself to his ruling over him, and then that's how we get into how the salamanders look today, by adapting the Imperial of Man emblem on their chest. And then we got other, like I said before, you got and here's another, again, the picture of the salamanders helping innocent people, and this photo is the children. Then you got like soldiers like this guy, Salamander Terminator. It's like more kind of like, when you need some help, the reinforcements come in, the Terminators are there. This is just another look of how, and each there's a lot of different variations of the Terminators. This is the Salamander, and this is how this one specifically looked like, but there's quite a few. The people of Nocturne had become, through design and natural evolution, a phenomenally hardy breed, markedly resistant both to extremes of climate, gravity, and of ambient radiation, far above the baseline human norm, yet were also possessed of considerable genetic stability. Although their technological level had regressed to pre-industrial during the travels of old knights, the Nocturians had maintained a high degree of cultural sophistication and social cohesion, and the values of stoic resistance, perseverance in the face of adversity, and above all, courage had become the hallmarks of his tribal people. So, pretty dope. You know, that's some story there of the salamander. In the Great War, chapter history in the Great War, the Horus heresy, many deeds of infamy and valor were right upon the bloody stars. At the center of their maelstrom lay the salamanders, legion betrayed, struck down, laid to waste, and yet resolute against the foe. There were a few Space Marine legions who paid such a high price for their loyalty and honor as the salamanders. There are fewer still who have so willingly and so often shedded blood in mankind's defense beyond the measure and due. The salamanders are such a force, and though driven to near destruction not once, but time and again, they have each time arisen from the ashes of war, stronger and tempered like the peerless steel blade fashioned in the legendary forges of their homeworld, unbroken, undefeated, and true to their cause. You know, dude, like, I'm telling you, man, it's pretty dope. I'm really loving the salamanders by this point. Let me show you a video clip that I was able to find. It was kind of hard to find stuff on this, but I managed to do something here. So let me try to bring what I'm reading to life, right? We're talking about the salamanders. We're talking about how they are, how they like, how that's one of the chapters in Space Marines that protect humans, especially the civilians of the Emperor, right? Let's give you an idea here. Let's see who I'm going to start with. Let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. I want to pick the right ones. Let's start with this one. When I saw this, I was like, man, this is so bugged out. Like, I really started loving the salamanders and just the way they look, and especially this character whose name is Iacon, which I'll get into later. But I want to show you at least a video so you can, what I've said so far, you kind of have an image in your head of what I'm talking about. It's cool. They have all this technology in the armor, you know, like kind of reminds me of Predator, like all the advanced technology they got in those helmets. See, right now you can identify there's people there. They're scared beyond belief because, you know, these aliens invaded their planet. And there you can see this gray skin that the salamanders are known for.
Greetings.
Are you one of the Emperor's angels?
I am.
Guy must be a priest or something.
I realize my countenance suggests a malign aspect. It is a legacy of my genetic ascension, not a sign of corruption.
He's talking about his gray skin.
Hold. I understand you have suffered greatly, and that my appearance incites unease in mortals. But I'm on your side.
You're bleeding.
I was, but no longer.
I didn't know angels could bleed.
Now you know otherwise.
Does it hurt?
My auxiliary maintainer has suffered cardiopulmonary failure.
I don't know what that means.
It means my second heart has ceased functioning. It hurts a little. Yes.
You have 2 hearts.
And 3 lungs. But one of those has also collapsed. Now, I must ask.
Do you have a name?
My name is Sakan.
Are you here to save us?
What are your names, little ones?
Lysander.
Atia.
Take us with you. It's not safe here.
It is not safe anywhere.
Then don't leave us alone, Angel. Please.
That's pretty bugged out. We'll go back to that clip later, but I wanted to show you guys just how, you know, me reading this and you're like, well, you know, you're trying to get in your head like these salamanders, but that's a good video clip of just showing you how big these guys are, first of all. And there's other levels that are even bigger than these guys, but these guys are bigger than a normal human being. And like in that video clip, he's saying he has 2 hearts. One of them failed, but he has 2 hearts and 3 lungs. So these guys are built for battle. You know what I'm saying? Like anything goes wrong, they got like another heart to kick in. You know, they lose a lung, they got 2 more. I mean, it's pretty crazy how they're adapted for battle. You know, pretty crazy. And I love how the kids are going up to him like, "Are you here to save us?" And like, he doesn't really answer the question because, like, I feel like he can't really say, "Yeah, I'm here to save you," because he can't even guarantee that he's gonna survive. You know, he's the only one left from his platoon or group, whatever. You know, so he kind of like tells the kids like, "What are your names?" You know, because I feel like telling the kids what are your names kind of like reminds them of the importance of survival, you know. So yeah, man, it was really cool. I got more clips to show you guys too, but I wanted to show you that one. We'll go back to that one later. I got some other ones I want to show you, but so getting back to the salamanders, as with several of the proto-legion grouping in the closing stages of unification wars, much remains unknown as to the exact founding and intake of the 18th Legion. Beyond the unusual secrecy and security that the Emperor chose to surround the Space Marine project, kind of like, you know, the Super Soldier project in Marvel, right? We got the Space Marine project. In order to protect the nascent Leones, Astartes, both from hostile action and from potential espionage, the origins and early deployment of several early legions gene strains are further occluded beyond the modern records sites. These legion groups were formed and established largely in separation from the rest, and is generally thought created very specific ends. There were none save perhaps a handful of the emperor's closest and earliest confidants surviving from those lost and bloody days, who knew the facts regarding this mystery, and the truth likely died with them. You know, it's hard, like a lot of like the origin stories and details of these chapters, you know, so many people know it, but if they're dead, you know, who's going to be passing that knowledge down? So whatever knowledge you have of these chapters it's extremely valuable. The 18th Legion, that was known for some time as the Dragon Warriors and would later become known as the Salamanders, just like I showed you guys earlier. Um, where to go? Okay. So this is what it looked like before. This is the Dragon Warriors. That's how they looked. But again, they adapted the new Imperium emblem when they joined the Emperor. So that's how they look now. And would later become known as salamanders after the rediscovery of the Primarch. So, yep, along with the Space Wolf, which is another chapter. We'll get into that on a different episode. Legions, Alpha Legion, I believe, is another one. Comprised this group of proto legions. This trefoil of 3 proto legions was somehow veiled from the rest during the creation and establishment, which something known to their fellows by the edict of the emperor of his agents, and remain unspoken of openly. All right, let's see. Particular in regards to their earliest intake of initiates, around with dark rumors circled, which would later blossom into a level of distrust. This distrust would magnify for very different reasons in regards to what later become the Space Wolves Legion and Alpha Legion over time, but would be ameliorated in case of the Salamanders by their later conduct and the influence in persons of their gene sire, the Primarch Vulcan. However, this was not so in the early days, and it is forgotten now by most of the outset of the Great Crusade. And CA 798, the M30 is the year. I'm not sure how that year is. It's a little bit difficult. I'm not sure how it is. We got 20 BC before Christ, but I'm not sure how this is. The reputation being forged by the 18th Legion was a far more bloody and bellicose one that they would later carry. In many ways, the pattern of their early fate was set and prefigured by the first major battle for which they become publicity identified. Let's see. In this, the Legion alone achieved a victory against impossible odds and survived, although barely, taking savage losses, which reduced the newly invested Legion's active strength from around 20,000 to a little more than 1,000 warriors. Wow, man. So you go from 20,000 salamanders down to 1,000. Dude, that's some serious losses, dude. That's like, dang, dude. So it's like the salamanders. If you see one, you count yourself lucky, I guess, Although in doing so, they secured themselves a place of glory and honor in the role of the Imperium's forces. So a lot of the other forces chapters hold them in high respects. Let's see. Legion was often deployed piecemeal as fresh chapters of Legion were readied and pressing demands called the Space Marines' involvement. This meant that so it seems like the salamanders were often called whenever they needed peace going missions. They would go send them out because they were known for being good with the people compared to these other like barbarian type chapter guys. If I guess if I was a civilian, I would want to see a salamander come to my rescue, for sure. Let's see here. It's a lot here. Let me just skip some of this. Increasingly overmanned the number of crusades, a legion born of fire. When the Primarch Vulcan was restored to the Imperium, it was to be on the world of Nocturne. This world of his growth and maturity would, as with his brethren Primarchs, shape much about him and the extension of his legion in later years. Nocturne is a death world, a turbulent volcanic orb. So again, it's a volcanic planet, which is again why we see the way the salamanders look, that skin, that that's the way they look because of their planet they're from. All right. All right, that's that. All right. All right, let's go over let's do some videos here. All right, let's go back. Because now we're gonna get into who exactly in this video. Right, hold on, let me play this video. Let's play this video again, okay, in case you missed. So in this video, we're seeing Vulcan, right? He's coming down. So Vulcan was summoned there. His platoon was summoned to go to this planet, probably to look for somebody. And in doing so, his Thunderhawk, which is the Space Marines air transport ship, was gunned down. And in that, Sakan, which is the guy you're seeing here, was the only survivor of his group. But just like any Space Marine, right? Even if you're the last person, you still proceed with the mission. And you can tell by the way he moves, you know, he's a veteran, you know, this is not his first battle. He identifies some people there. The people are like frightened beyond belief. He takes off his helmet, which I feel like it's could be a bad habit to do. Like he keeps taking his helmet off when approaching people, and you're in a war zone. You know, you want to keep all your armor on, but you know, he takes a moment and just takes it off. And this is like a priest, I guess.
Are you one of the Emperor's angels?
I am.
So all the Space Marines are Emperor's angels. That's why you see a lot of the wing emblems on them.
A malign aspect. It is a legacy of my genetic ascension, not a sign of corruption. Hold. I understand.
I'll show you the next video after this one.
And that my appearance
The one that
incites
continues
armies
after
of
this.
mortals. But I'm on your side.
You're bleeding.
I was, but no longer.
I didn't know.
I like his
angels
voice.
bleed.
I was,
know
but no
otherwise.
longer.
Does it hurt?
My auxiliary maintainer has suffered cardiopulmonary failure.
I don't know what that means.
It means my second heart has ceased functioning. It hurts a little. Yes.
You have 2 hearts.
And 3 lungs. But one of those has also collapsed. Now, I must ask,
Do you have a name?
my name
Look how
is-
big he is too. Like this guy's huge. You see it here
Are you
too.
here to save us?
As he kneels, you can again look how big this guy is.
What are your names, little ones?
Lysander.
Atia.
There he's like, he hears some gunfire, bolt of fire, and he's like, yo, something's up. He gets ready, puts his helmet back on, he gets in protection mode.
Take us with you.
Something's out there.
It's not safe here.
It is not safe anywhere.
Then don't leave us alone, Angel. Please.
Crazy. And this is the next video of that clip.
No. Lower your weapon.
The faithless.
So let me just, so what they don't show in that clip is basically, so you heard in the other clip, you see he hears gunfire. He goes out and he finds Sister Danica, which is from the Sister of the Martyred Lady, is like a chapter. But she goes out there and he's like, oh yeah, it's a Space Marine. You know, she's been like trying to survive herself. And they're talking out there, and then these people come out and she sees those people and she's getting ready to gun them down. And the Space Marine blocks her And he's like, why are you protecting these unworthy people? And he's like, unworthy, like that's what we do, protect people, So they were surprised by her response. So that's where this video starts off.
No. Lower your weapon.
Don't do this. They're faithless. Their minds will rot like the others. It's better to grant them the Emperor's mercy now.
Lower your weapon, sister. Now.
Mercy? From one of the Astartes? How many worlds have you burnt? How many massacres saw your sword drink deep and red? Don't do this, Danica.
Run! Find cover! Now!
We'll get into this character too soon. She's out of it. Boom. So, yeah, there's more to that Sister Danica's story. You're like, what's up with her? There's a reason with her. So, who are they fighting? We've seen a couple of video clips, right? They're in a war zone. People are scared. Who are they scared about? Who is firing right now at that Space Marine and that Sister Danica? And they are called Necron. All right, Necrons. Got a picture here to give you an idea. Put an image in your head of who they're doing, and this is what they look like. So that's a Necron. It's like a robotic, biological robot type thing. We'll get into it right now. Give you a brief thing about it. Bada boom. I try to simplify as much as I could, guys, because like I said, you could be here forever. But I'm just trying to give you a little knowledge of each thing that we're seeing in these videos. So the Necrons are mysterious Xenos species of humanoid robotic skeletal warriors that have lain dormant in their stasis tombs for more than 60 million Terran years. That's a long time. Though they have begun to awaken at last, they are the soulless creations, former servants, and now the captors of the ancient Satan, the terrible star gods of Alderi myth. The Necrons are ancient beyond reckoning, predating even the birth of the Aldari. At long last, however, they are beginning to awaken from their tomb worlds, for the galaxy is ripe for the conquest and the restoration of the Necron Empire since the disappearance of the old ones more than 60 million standard years ago. So these guys, they got tombs all over the galaxy, all over the universe, sleeping. They're in slumber, sleeping. The Necrons are a completely robotic humanoid species whose technological prowess is probably unmatched by any of the other intelligent species of the galaxy. That's pretty impressive, guys. Completely robotic humanoid species whose technological prowess is probably unmatched by any other intelligent species of the. That's saying something. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Yet, out of a desire for vengeance against the more fortunate, long-lived ancient Xenos people called the Old Ones, and the trickery of the godlike intelligences known as the Satan, the Necrons shed their original origin forms and all forms of compassion and empathy. So, from what I read, these robotic necrons were once like humans. You know, they had flesh bodies, but from what I was reading, they kind of got like a magic cancer disease type thing. So they were dying quickly because of this disease. They have become instead ruthless, undying, killing machines. They don't even care. They just want to kill. They're programmed to kill, who are determined to exert their mastery over the galaxy once more. Let's see where else we can jump to. All necrons, from the lowest of warriors to the most regal of lords, are driven by the one ultimate goal: to restore their ancient ruling dynasties to glory and to bring the galaxy under their rule once more, as it was in ancient days. So I guess in ancient days, they were the powerhouse. They were like, you know, they were the super force to mess with, you know. Let's see here. Such was the edict long ago encoded into the Necrons' minds, and it is command. So fundamental their being that it is cannot be denied. So they're talking about, you know, they're just driven to destroy any other race out there. They're programmed to do it, and there's no way out of it. Yet it is no small task, for the Necrons are awakening from their tomb worlds to find the galaxy of the 41st millennium, as recorded by the imperial calendar, much changed. Many tomb worlds are no more, destroyed by cosmic disaster or alien invasions. Other are damaged, their entombed legions inflicted by slow madness or worn to dust by Entropy's irresistible onset. Degenerate alien species squat amongst the ruins of their Necron tomb worlds that remain little aware of the greatness they defile with their upstart presence. Yet if billions of Necrons have been destroyed by the passage of eternity, countless billions more remain to their dormant reborn. Fast forward here. So the sciences by which feats are achieved remain a mystery to the outsiders, for the Necrons do not share their secrets with lesser beings. So they're only going to share what they know if they respect you. Basically, if they feel like, you know what, you're at our level, so we're going to share our knowledge with you. If you're less than us, then you're not even considered a life form, basically. Should a fallen Necron warrior fail to phase out, it self-destructs and is consumed in blaze of emerald light. Outwardly, this appears little difference to the glow of teleportation, leaving the foe to wonder whether the Necron has finally been destroyed or merely retreated to his tomb. So, I guess they can reprogram. They can take some serious damage. They're like Wolverines. They're like robotic Wolverines that they get injured, but they can still heal and fix themselves. If they're beaten up beyond belief, then they can teleport to a place where they're out of danger, and as long as it takes to get them back going, I guess it takes them back going. So you'd have to really do some serious damage to the point where these ancient systems just can't keep up anymore. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. All right, so that's some Necron stuff, right? Let's see here. Let's share another video of just how these guys look in person here. Here's one. Badly damaged. So let's take a look at this. This will give you an idea, like, you know, he's really bad. You know, he's hurting pretty bad. See, and his system fixes himself. See, look at that, boom. And that, what you're seeing there, that's like their portal. That's how they phase in and out. They can like teleport right behind you, take you out, type stuff. But it looks like his is malfunctioning. So that was a quick clip there of showing you just what these Space Marines are up against. You know, you're up against a foe that you really have to make sure you take out, because if not, you know, it's just going to come back and get you. Let's see here. What else can we see here? Let me see what video this one. Okay, so here we got Sakan again. He's there exploring the battle scene exactly, and his helmet, I guess, his technology lets him see what exactly happened. So let's find out what exactly happened to these Space Marines that are lying there. There you got some Sisters of the Martyred Lady. So there's Sakan is seeing the battlefield there, and exactly his helmet and whatever technology lets him see exactly just what went down there, you know, because he just showed up later on. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. See what else you can see. See what the.
In the darkness between the stars, the weak
It's kind of like a
and the
little clip that
faithless
shows a little bit of
find
everything.
no deliverance.
Let's see what this one shows. So this is Sister Danica's like group. She
We
leads
are
them.
raised to believe that the God Emperor watches over us all. And so we are charged to cleanse the mutant, the heretic, the alien. We must not falter. We are his sword. We are his wrath. Even in the face of death, we shall not submit.
So that blast, like from what I've seen, that blast, if it hits you, pretty much disintegrates her body, but somehow she's still like
Faith
intact.
is our armor.
And in this clip, you can see that she's praying to the Emperor, and I guess he gets
In
healed.
battle, he offers us redemption. And for those who prove worthy, the Emperor sends forth his angels.
That's an ultramarine.
Our Imperium is besieged. Across 1,000 worlds, we fight for our survival.
I think that's called
Those that would tear humanity down are legion. Our forces are few. Our enemies many. There is no respite. There is no mercy. And in our darkest hour, a spiteful universe awakens forgotten evils to break us. The galaxy burns, yet still we stand, the last bulwark against the Terror. And while we draw breath, we will fight. For in this new dark age, there is only war.
Boom. I mean, so yeah, that was a little bit of intro of like how everything gets together. Here is like you saw at the end, like they got these Necron warlord, and they're like a lot more dangerous, obviously, than the other ones. And this is kind of like a picture of give you an idea of how that guy looks. There's a lot of different Necrons. You got some with 4 legs. Yeah, they got a lot of different stuff. Let's see here. So Sakan. All right, which is the salamander, the salamander soldier that I've been showing you guys. This is a little bit of info on him. Sakan is a specific salamander space marine known for from the Warhammer 40K animated series Para Nexus, a compassionate hero who survives a crash on Paradise 3, protects civilians from necrons, battled corrupted Kriegers, and embodied the salamander's core traits: fury, resilience, craftsmanship, and fierce protection of innocents, even losing a hand in battle while defending those under his care, highlighting his selfless heroism against overwhelming odds. Mission: deployed to Paradise 3 during the Para Crusade to link up with Ultramarines. So he was on that planet to meet up with the Ultramarines, which is the Space Marines that are in blue and have that Omega symbol. Crash and survival. His Thunderhawk crashed, killing the squad. He emerged as a sole survivor. Compassion in conflict. Despite being a fearsome warrior, he prioritizes saving civilians, clashing with Sister Danica over their lives, you know, as we saw in that clip. Let's see here. Where'd it go? Here we go. And this clip,
No.
he's clashing with Sister Danica because she wants to shoot the civilians, but he's there to protect them.
Rot like the others. It's better to grant them the Emperor's mercy now.
Lower your weapon, sister. Now.
Mercy? From one of the Astartes? How many worlds have you burnt? How many massacres saw your sword drink deep and red? Don't do this, Danica. I...
Run! Find cover! Now!
Sister!
Bada boom, bada bing. Um, yeah. So in that you can see, and I thought it was pretty cool that here's Sister Danica. She wants to take these guys out, and he put his finger on the trigger, like he was ready to mow her down. Like there's no way you're going through me to kill these people. There's no way, you know. So I thought that was pretty awesome. It says Iacon fought necrons corrupted by Death Corpse and Krieg is losing his right hand. Excuse me. Legacy, though relatively new character in the lore, specifically for the animation, he represents the salamander's deep-seated commitment to humanity, a trait shared with his primarch Vulcan. So that's a little bit of history of Iacon, one character that I really ended up digging when I was doing the research on this. And then let's see. I have to show this clip over again because I don't have anything else to show you, but I want to show you in the background of this video we've seen.
No.
See, so you got Iacon and Danica there. Look in the background. See that soldier?
Their minds will
That's
rot like the
Danica's second in command.
others. It's better to grant them the
But
Emperor's mercy now.
she's not really there. She actually died. But that's an hallucination of Danica. That's why you see her there in the clip.
Mercy.
It's actually a figment of her
From one the
imagination.
Astartes? How many worlds have you burnt? How many massacres saw your sword drink deep and red? Don't do this, Danica.
A Necron, and he sees the Necron as a more impending threat compared to her.
Now!
So that is Danica's second in command. Power skills, strategist, hobby serving the Imperial Man, goals, defending paradise, family unknown, friends, Sister Danica, enemies, Necron. There's really not much on her, but the guardsman rebooting Danica's increasingly unhinged zealotry. The guardsman expressing his fears to her own face. Blah, blah. The unarmed guardsman is the deuteragonist of Warhammer 40k show Para Nexus, serving in the Emperor Guard. She was the right hand of Sister Danica and participated in the defense of the planet Paradise against the Necron invasion. She existed in two forms: the real woman that perished in battle, and then onwards as an hallucination. So that's why you see her in that clip, because she's just in a figment. Because I guess Danica was fighting a battle and she kind of lost everybody under her command, and she probably holds that guilt, and is why she's that hallucination. It follows her, you know. Let's see here. What else do we got? Vulcan. We talked about Vulcan, you know, the where do we go? The Primarch. Let's see if there's anything more here. Prometheus pieces. tells the tale of how one of these children ended up on the fruitful death world of Nocturne. Among the hardly historic people of Nocturne, infant Vulcan had fallen into a blazing comet and into the home of a blacksmith, which we already covered. Nabel recognized the child as one of the prophesied to be a savior of teaching. Excuse me. So I guess Nabel is the name of the blacksmith, I guess, who took him in and named him Vulcan. Like all the Primarchs, Vulcan grew very quickly, reaching full adulthood and a size bigger and more muscular than any man of Nocturne. By the age of only 3 Terran years, he was also highly intelligent, able to vastly improve the already considerable metalworking skills of the famed smith of Nocturne. Quickly, he had risen in strength and wisdom, embracing the culture which had taken him up, working in his adopted father's forge, and hunting the great saurians and other beasts bestirred by the planet's fury temper, becoming a legendary champion in his world defense against far more dangerous foes, Dusk race. The Opus tells that during Vulcan's 4th year of life, his town was attacked by a Drakari who were on a slave-taking expedition. The Outlander, in celebration of Primax victory, tournament of various contests involving test strength and craftsmanship. The stranger, alias, the stranger. Like I said before, the stranger is actually the Emperor, Vulcan's dad in disguise. The hunt for the final trial. Both men had a day to forge a weapon, then were to go out and slay the largest salamander. Vulcan had forged a huge hammer, and the stranger a keen-edged sword. They both climbed to the summit of Mount Deathfire, a massive volcano said to be the home of the largest fire drakes, the most fearsome species of salamander on the planet. Vulcan found his prey first, smashing his head with a single blow of his hammer. And as he carried the carcass back the volcano, Vulcan nearly thrown off the cliff. That's when the stranger, aka the Emperor, comes and saves him. So that's a brief, quick another of Vulcan. And then Sister Danica, which we saw in those clips. Aliases: Sister Danica, origin Warhammer 40,000, occupation battle sister of the Order of the Martyred Lady, power skills peak human strength, peak human agility, adapter Sororitas power armor. Almost there. You shield these unworthy souls. Get out of the way. They're faithless. Their minds will rot. Like, that's where she comes in contact with Sakan, the salamander. You shield these unworthy souls? Unworthy? You know, that's like, what are you talking about? Sister Danica was one of the main protagonists of Paranexus, an animated series set within Warhammer 40,000. A member of the Adeptus Sororitas and the Order of the Merited Lady. They got passion. Let's see, that's a little brief of her there. And lastly was just, if you wanted a little bit more information on the Order of the Murdered Lady, patron saint Saint Catherine, homeworld Ophelia, black power armor. Order of the Murdered Lady is one of the major orders militant of the Adepta Sororitas, or the Sisters of Battle, founded in honor of Saint Catherine by Clearsis Alexis. The order is renowned for its unrelenting pursuit of those who defy the Emperor. The Order of the Murdered Lady holds fortified sanctuaries on a great many imperial worlds. Bada boom, bada bing. The chaos forces the poor. I think that's about really. The Order of the Malay was known as the Order of the Fury Heart, like their fellow Adeptus Order militant. The Sisters of the Fairy Heart could trace their origins back to the teachings of the Daughters of the Emperor. The Order of the Fairy Heart reflected the vengeful nature of their first canoness and eventual patron, Saint Catherine. And that's pretty much right there. What, brief talk of the order. Okay. Oh, and yeah. So I talk about the Thunderhawk. This is what a Thunderhawk looks like. So this is the aircraft that Sakan arrived on Paradise 3. This is what he arrived in, and he would have been with maybe another 3 or 4 more salamanders on that ship, but they all died during the crash, and he just happened to be the last one. But this is what the Thunderhawks look like. They look like pretty much heavy armor. Looks like a big gun up there. Troop transport. This is another look of Sister Danica right there. Sister Danica, her armor, not as bulky as the Space Marines, but some armor and more flexible in agility. What else? What we got here? And then we got a picture of the Emperor. This is what he would look like according to Warhammer lore. The Emperor, a very big guy. He's huge. But that's what he would look like. Very powerful. Very powerful. All right. Let's see here. Give me a second here. I just want to look at something. All right, guys. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about Warhammer. At least, there's so much to go over, but that's pretty much a salamander story right there, real quick. Before I end, I wanted to upload some pictures that one of our members on Transformers Third Party Kingdom, Sonny Crockett, he's got a few things that he wants to sell. He's selling Fan Toys Dinobots, and we got 3 Dinobots that he's going to be selling: Swoop, Slag, and Sludge. He says they have all the boxes. They 100% complete. He's asking $350 for all 3, which I think is a great deal. Oh, sorry for the noise, guys. Okay. So we got 3 robots there, Dinobots, Fan Toys, which are very high price, and $350 he's asking for these 3. Let me know in the comment if you're looking for a Sonny Crockett. And then he also has Fan Toys, this Constructicon here for sale. Bada boom, bada bing. So just let me know if you're interested in any of those. Sonny Crockett, he's in Transformers Third Party Kingdom. He's got this guy, and he's got the 3 Dinobots, which if you've never seen these Dinobots, they're huge. I got mine in Dinobot mode, and they're big, man. They're like the size of a little baby. They're really big. All right. Let's see. And I'm just going to end with the last video, of Sakan. I just really love that video of him. It shows him and interacting with the people. I'm gonna end it with that one.
Greetings.
Are you one of the Emperor's angels?
I am. I realize my countenance suggests a malign aspect. It is a legacy of my genetic ascension, not a sign of corruption. Hold. I understand you have suffered greatly, and that my appearance incites unease in mortals. But I'm on your side.
You're bleeding.
I was, but no longer.
I didn't know angels could bleed.
Now you know otherwise.
Does it hurt?
My auxiliary maintainer has suffered cardiopulmonary failure.
I don't know what that means.
It means my second heart has ceased functioning. It hurts a little. Yes.
You have 2 hearts.
And 3 lungs. But one of those has also collapsed. Now, I must ask.
Do you have a name?
My name is Sakan.
Are you here to save us?
What are your names, little ones?
Lysander.
Atia.
Take us with you. It's not safe here.
It is not safe anywhere.
Then don't leave us alone, Angel. Please.
Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, so that was pretty cool, man. I like the salamander soldier there, and like I said, been trying to find a lot of information on the salamanders, and got quite a lot of reading, and again, this is just really an introduction, believe it or not. This was just a very quick introduction into that. You could go deeper if you wanted to, but I try to do it as simple as possible just to get you up to date, at least with these clips in salamander lore. But yeah, it's a lot of reading. I mean, the Warhammer is huge. I remember getting into it years ago, and even then I was like, man, like, what am I getting myself into? Like, this is crazy. Do a quick unboxing here because I had this for about a week or two. I just never unboxed it, opened it up. Now that I'm doing this live show, I'm just says thank you. Pretty cool. It's like little details that really kind of go a long way for me. I like when they do that. Excuse me. Yep. Dan Abnett, Ravenor, the Omnibus. I had this years ago, and it has a lot. It has multiple stories in here. It's got Ravenor, Ravenor Returned, and Ravenor Rogue, plus 2 short stories, an introduction of the Arthur. Pretty bugged out. I mean, it's a lot of reading, but I heard like these were really good to read as far as Warhammer stuff, and I purchased that just so I can take the time and get into that to read. So that's what I wanted to share too before we end it. So yeah, guys, that was crazy, man. I mean, I worked all week gathering information, video clips, which is really hard to find video stuff on Warhammer, especially stuff that you can download and show on YouTube. Like, it's really hard, but I was able at least to find those ones. Whenever I dig into some of the other chapters, like the Imperial Fist and so on, I can't guarantee that I'll find video stuff, but I can definitely at least find pictures, you know, to share with you guys. So, yeah, bada boom, bada bing. Let's see here. Bada boom. So, hope you guys really like that, man. If you haven't watched, if you're just coming in, don't worry, you know, you can watch it from the beginning. I think it was really cool. I'm hoping the live wasn't choppy. Sometimes I can't tell until I watch the later. But special thanks to my wife again. She got me this new camera. It follows me, so I'm bugged out like that. Wherever I go, it does. Still working at it and figuring it out, but it does a lot of stuff, so I'm happy with that. Let me know, guys, if you dig this, if you enjoyed this. Let me know. I don't know how many of you are into Warhammer, but let me know if it's something that you like. Let me know if you'd like to see some other chapters covered. Let me know if there's any other stuff that you would like me to do live with, toys, TV shows, whatever it is. Your feedback is important, you know, helps us figure out what we can talk about next, you know. So appreciate you guys, you know. Remember to like and follow, because if you know somebody who would dig the page, share the channel with them. You know, we have a whole bunch of videos. Just go on the playlist and you'll see the Iacon files. Everything that we've done should be in that playlist. We got quite a few stuff there now, so we got a lot of videos. If you haven't watched them all, you know, and you're just sitting trying to figure out what to do, just sit back and click on those videos and watch them. You know, took time to do them, and I tried doing my best. Something that you guys would enjoy. So again, definitely give me your feedback and let me know if you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see something else on the Iacon files. You know, if you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to me. Let me know. If you want to talk about something on the show, let me know. But I'm always trying to figure out something cool, something different, you know. I'm not an expert in a lot of these things. I'm just giving you a simple man's opinion and feedback. So with that being said, guys, it is 9:35. I'm gonna give it a close here, and thank you for watching, and thank you for all your support. It means a lot to me, guys, and God bless you guys, and I hope that all is well. If you're going through difficulties, reach out to me. I can pray for you. That's what we're here for. All right, guys. God bless you, and bada boom, bada bing.